now that everyone can wipe codes, it's very saturated out there. Like if you go to the app stores, you will see a bazillion of same tools with similar logos, same functionality. Which do you download? That comes handy for designers because we can make things look very professional, sophisticated, like the whole team is behind it, while other people cannot. You should know as a solo founder is you don't want to be reliant on paid advertisement. You don't want your company to rely on only paid growth. You don't want that because that's a, bucket with a hole.
Hey, I'm Eli Rastian, and this is AI Designer Club. In this episode, I'm talking to Antonija Peck. She's currently a lead product designer at Musician. Antonija built Vocabbie. It's a language learning app on iOS and Android. She shipped the whole thing solo on both stores. If you're a designer thinking about shipping your own product, this one is for you. We talk about the technical foundation you need before AI can actually help you, the reality of publishing on the App Store and Google Play, and why distribution is harder than building. Enjoy! Hi, Antonija. Thanks for being here with me.
Hello. Thanks for inviting. Nice to be here.
So we've got to meet each other on LinkedIn. It was because you actually built a really cool app. You're a designer, and that's actually was really interesting to me. And the fact is that I invite people here in AI Designer Club who have built their ideas, and you're one of them. And you didn't just build one. You're quite active, and you've built multiple. But we want to focus on one today in this episode. So tell me about that.
Well, I will give you a brief intro who I am for those who might not know me from my internet and content creation adventures. So my name is Antonija. I'm originally from Croatia, but I live for the past 9 years in Finland. I work as a lead product designer in a company called Musician. Those people who play guitar probably know about this company because we have world most used guitar tuner. Apart from that, I love content creation. I love coding. I love gadgets and all of this. This kind of brought me into making my own app for language learning. I also built a bazillion of other services and apps, but most of them are in prototype kind of stage. But Vocabbie, this app that we're going to talk about in this podcast, is actually quite complex. Previously, one might need the whole team to build something like that, but AI unlocked designers to become founders. Vocabbie is a pocket app, like it's an app in your pocket for learning languages. How I learn Finnish is by using flashcards to build my vocabulary. But then you also need to learn a little bit of grammar, a little bit of writing. This is kind of complete solution that I baked in Vocabbie. And it will teach you beyond A1 level. So I implemented a whole pipeline. You go to practice, you get 5 lessons based off your skill level. It's self-assessment. And then depending how you solve these exercises, then AI will generate another 5 lessons for you. So it always generates something based off your answers. So it's not like hard-coded linear way for everybody to follow, like in Duolingo or whatever other app. It always adapts to your answers and your knowledge. So it teaches you, it's personalized. So it teaches you in the way you need it, basically. It's same old. Like from frustration came the initial idea, and then I built it.
There is always this itch, especially for designers, that we can spot the problem, but then we used to not be able to do anything about it. It was only going to a prototype and that's it to satisfy our curiosity.
Pretty much. I did develop several apps myself in the past, but this process compared to process that we have today is night and day. I spent building like a period tracker app 10-15 years ago when Swift got released. It took me probably like a year, and we didn't have AI, so I had to code everything by hand. It was terrible. A lot of crying evenings, slamming head on the wall. How do I do this? How do I do that? But that journey was very important, and this is something a lot of people will miss today. because I went through the process of development myself. I know how things are built. That helps me actually use AI in ways that somebody who sees it for the first time maybe cannot actually use it yet in the way I can use it, because you need to have like a bit of developer technical background in order to utilize these tools so they do the things you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Not just prompting, purely prompting, you mean. And also not knowing although the way that we are right now interacting with AI is mostly prompting, I would say, but knowing the structure behind, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to know like, okay, which tech stack I want to use, how I'm gonna deal with security, where I'm gonna host all of this, what's my backend, why this service, why that service. These are all structural architectural decisions that you can't really know if you never did it before. That knowledge doesn't appear in your head from thin air. But of course, if you ask AI things in a smart way, like, okay, I need to create authentication. What are my options? What is the simplest? What is most secure? Like if you like first brainstorm that with yourself and AI, you can probably get to the point where you understand, if I want Magic Link login, I need to use this, this, and this. Okay, let's do it. And then if you are crafty with your prompt, you're probably gonna succeed.
So if you also don't know anything, I mean, the other way around, like if you don't know anything about the structure behind, you can bounce idea with AI to get the understanding, then move forward.
Yes, but one problem that I keep seeing with people is, okay, some people will proactively start brainstorming, but the problem starts when you don't know what to brainstorm. Like, how do you know that you need to think about security, architecture, like this, blah, blah, you know, coding patterns? What is the difference? What do you need? Like, if you don't have that initial knowledge, then you don't have a good starting point. So I think that's the problem where people should maybe, I don't know, maybe start learning about development, like in general, how it's done. Maybe talk with fellow developers, read some articles, maybe go through some YouTube videos, Udemy courses, and then slowly start understanding, this is how things are built in modern apps. Okay, now I have a better overview.
True, true. Like when you don't know, you actually don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
You're a designer, you are quite familiar with all the processes and workflows of best practices of design field. How much of it did you use building this app? And what was the part that you skipped or actually you dive deeper?
That's a really good question, because how I built this app is very different how I would do it maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago. So I didn't use Figma at all. Like, not for 1 minute. I completely skipped that. So because I have over 10 years, well, closer to 15 years of experience in the industry, I design everything here. And I know exactly what I want and how I want. And also, there are some standards when it comes to like, what kind of grid are we using? Like 4 point, you decide like these structural things in the beginning. Okay, I want this corner radius for my buttons. I want them to look like this. This is going to be my body font size. And then I will extrapolate all the sizes from that one. These are my colors. And then you start building really fast. So you don't need Figma or any other tool really to, if you're a solo founder, to jump into the nice stuff, start clicking on the app and seeing your product in minutes. Um, and yeah, so basically I just skipped Figma altogether. I built everything by just prompting AI and guiding it directly from my head.
And what kind of tools did you use?
Yeah, because I started to build this app like a year and a half ago or something like that. We didn't have Cursor, we didn't have Claude Code, we didn't have a lot of these things in the state that they are in today. So we had mostly ChatGPT. So what I started to do is I would copy and paste whole files in ChatGPT and ask, okay, I need to add this, this, and this. Can you write me code to write this, to add this? It was terribly slow. It was terribly uh, annoying and mostly didn't work. But it took me like to some like alpha version. But then fast forward now, I just use Claude Code. And I have to say, more and more I'm using Mac OS version of Claude app because they made it in such a nice way, like interface and UX around it, so good. But sometimes I will just open it in my Warp, which is like a terminal replacement app that's made for like agentic work, and just start prompting inside there. But Claude Code all the way.
I'm also using Claude, and the desktop app is pretty easy. I'm wondering when they will bring. As we're speaking, 2 days ago, actually, Claude released Claude Design. It doesn't still exist on the app, desktop app. So I'm wondering when they will bring it. That would be also convenient if it's on the desktop app. Okay, cool. And then what else did you use? How did you release it? Maybe you can also talk about this daunting part for designers. How did you go through this path?
That part is where solo founders probably waste most of time because, for example, on the App Store and Google Console, it's really tedious. Tedious. It's understatement to say how tedious it is to set everything up. So first, you need to pay $100 or something like that to have developer access. Then you create a new app, great. But then you need to fill all the forms and fields and blah, blah, blah. It's not trivial because, you need to fill what's description. So you need to brainstorm with AI, okay, what do I write here? You need to create App Store screenshots. I just updated for Vocabbie yesterday to something new that finally looks nice. And I can say I'm proud of it because up until now, I always did it in less 10 minutes, with the last 1% of energy because I couldn't, work on computer anymore. So they looked like trash. So now they finally look good. And then on Google Play Console, you also need to pay, I think, 30 or $40 to get in. But then they have this thing when you create a new app. You need to invite, I believe, 12 people who will test your app for 2 weeks or something like that. That part is annoying. Adding these people to this internal track is somebody gives you their email tied to their Android account. Then you need to put it in one field, and then you need to copy link and send them where they can download. So you need to manually do that for 12 people. So it's terrible. I couldn't publish one app because I couldn't find 12 people who were willing to, test it. Test means downloading it. That's it. So it's really tedious. And then, of course, releasing new versions is next circle of hell. If you do everything manually, that takes hours. But of course, there are some tools that can help you. Like if you use React Native, you can use a tool called Expo. You're going to probably use it anyways with React Native. They have the whole ecosystem around releasing apps and all of that. So that cleans a lot of stuff for you, but you still need to manually release. But if you want to go all the way and automate absolutely everything, so one command and Jowski, then you would use Fastlane. That's really old tool, battle tested, really good. I just set up mine today, this morning, because I realized that I don't want to waste more of my time to click release, submit, really, so those are some keywords that maybe designers who are interested into publishing apps should maybe write down and Google a little bit or ask AI, what is that?
Yeah, it's a bit scary, but I think it's just that once you do it, then you will get a hang of it, right?
And you get a completely new appreciation for developers who need to do that on a daily basis because it's terrible. These interfaces and these tools are terrible. App Store Connect, which is a developer portal for releasing apps, looks exactly the same as 15 years ago. They didn't practically change anything. Maybe button here, corner radius there. But the whole process is exactly the same. I remember it 15 years ago when I published my first app. So that tells you how much effort they put into making developers life easier. It's not. It's terrible.
Mm.
It's absolutely terrible. Same goes for Google Play, a console. It looks maybe like a little bit more refined, like when you open it, but it's very confusing to use and it's slow and it's just like, ugh.
Hopefully AI will help them to. They should do some vibe coding to fix this.
One would hope because it's really terrible right now. And um, yeah, I'm just shocked that they didn't improve that. But also, I worked for unicorns, so millions of people, tons of teams, and I know how slow it can be when you need to coordinate with bazillion of people. I guess processes might be the biggest blocker in actually seeing some advancement in these tools. But yeah, that's just my assumption.
So you talked about, let me take you back.
Hmm.
You mentioned in a part that finding users was difficult. How did you tackle that part? I also know that this is a problem. I actually have built this product called Vibeland.dev to fix this issue. I also have problem finding users to upload their products in there. How did you tackle that part?
Distribution is number one problem for every company in the world, and nobody cracked the formula that works 100% from the get-go for everyone. So there are different layers to this problem. First, now that everyone can vibe code some app, now people are, confused and it's very saturated out there. Like if you go to the app stores, you will see bazillion of same tools with similar logos, same functionality. So which do you download? That comes handy for designers because we can make things look very professional, sophisticated, like the whole team is behind it, while other people cannot yet. I hope they won't because this is our thing.
And yeah, we would not have anything left behind. Now, the thing is that, yeah, that was actually one of my other questions. I wanted to ask you what kind of advantage did you have as a designer working on this product? So you're also describing that.
Yeah, I mean, when people decide whether to download and try something, I think it plays a big part how the whole presentation layer looks. Is website, purple AI slop, or it looks like, somebody really designed it and coded it and all of that. So I'm putting a lot of effort so it looks like the whole team is behind it. And well, distribution, I still didn't crack really, everyone struggles with that. What I tried is I did some advertisement on Instagram that brought me a lot of users, but also I paid like almost 200 euros for that. It's really not worth it. And one thing that you should know as a solo founder is you don't want to be reliant on paid advertisement. You don't want your company to rely on only paid growth. You don't want that because that's a bucket with a hole and you can never fill it. You want to reach organic growth as much as possible. It's very hard these days. It's super hard these days. It was much easier like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Um, but I am trying to think outside of the box. So I realized that private teachers that teach other people languages are a great source of new users. I have one teacher that is promoting my app on her LinkedIn and I don't know, wherever she posts her content because she's very into content creation. So, a little bit of endorsement from people who already have their brand and audience takes you a long way. But of course, that part is very hard to negotiate. And then also you need to, go on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the use and post, post, post. Most of it will not turn any knobs, but you just need to post so you have your presence and, it drips here and there some user. If somebody sees like okay, this video is like interesting, let me check this app, boom, download, there is that one user. How to tackle that as a solo founder? Well, I'm still, thinking what are my options. There are some AI tools that can generate videos, but it's AI slop. You can totally see it. But I did try like Superscale app. Um, Most of people that contacted me thought that that's a real video. They were asking me, who is this guy that promotes your app. I'm like, that's AI. That's not a human. But I think like organic video, not organic, but like non-AI video where you're like, hey, I'm a founder of this app. Let me show you how it goes, is a way to go. That's one thing, how to differentiate from, other AI slop. But that takes time, and you need to know how to record and edit and all of that. I know how to do all of that because I have a YouTube channel and I brushed my editing skills for good 5 years, but it's still too much time. Like, I don't have time for that. I need to fix bugs in the app.
That's true. There are so many parts to tackle, especially this part that you worked so much on this product, and then at the end you expect everyone to see how great was your imagination or your work or solution. And then, okay, where are the users?
It's hard. You need to play SEO and AI optimization game. For example, if you make a website, you need to have like some sort of blog so the website seems alive, so Google will promote it higher. For example, what I did for my website to be perceived as live, so I built a blog and it writes itself. I created a cron job on Vercel, hooked up some AI, and it writes. I don't even know, to be quite honest, what's there, because I did some checking for a few weeks and it writes really good posts, so I just let it run. So every other day it will create a new blog post and post it there.
It takes me to another topic. Do you use agents?
Not really. I did have installation of OpenClaw, and I was playing with that for a good month, and it was so much fun. But the problem is Anthropic killed the harness that allowed you to use your subscription. I'm paying max 20x, like 200 euros per month. I don't want to pay extra API usage for that. So I had to kill the whole project, but I had OpenClaw installed on my computer, and it was running a lot of things like content creation, you know, I don't know, like management, a lot of things, sending emails, yada yada yada. But now I actually switched to everything Anthropic because you can pretty much mimic what OpenClaw does with all the Claude tools that we have at our disposal, from like routines, loop for like crons, then you have dispatch. If you open dispatch from your phone and you have your like cowork, or I don't know, do you need to like switch tab or just open desktop app, you can on go do something with your computer. So that's pretty much what OpenClaw is doing. And one thing that I actually use all the time recently is I open my Warp terminal replacement tab and I just slash remote control. Now it's visible in your mobile app under the code tab, and you can wipe code on the go.
To close our conversation, I always ask this question, the hard question. What do you think we are doing in 12 months, or where do we stand as designers?
I firmly believe that those designers who don't jump on AI train, and it's already getting late if you didn't, are gonna slowly be phased out of the. Well, it's maybe I don't know. I don't want to say workforce, but from the industry a little bit, because why would some company hire a designer who draws rectangles in Figma and that's it, when they can hire somebody who will own the product and be a product maker rather than just, a designer, just making pixels, like somebody who has business mindset, can execute and own the whole system. So yeah, we need to learn new skills rapidly. I think we are in the red zone. Now it's less moment to jump on board. I think designers need to become very technical to own the whole process. Um, what else is for designers? Maybe start thinking of yourself as product owner and maker, because we will not be designing in Figma in future, probably. I firmly believe that that company will exist in some like legacy monoliths as Atlassian, but there's paper, pencil apps. I created the whole design system in what is pencil.dev in 10 minutes, and it looks amazing. So why would one even use these like legacy tools when we can reinvent our whole workflow? So I think 12 months from now we will use completely different tools, and it would be interesting to see what is happening in 12 months in another episode, to see like what actually changed. Are my predictions completely wrong, or what's up?
A designer right now watching us with an idea in mind, but they haven't done anything for it. What should they do to start?
Just start. Like, waiting for something perfect is a great recipe to never start anything. Just do it. If you have an idea and you're like, but yeah, but first I need to do this, but first I need to do that, but then I need to. No, just start. Learn by doing. Imagine a project and you will learn so much about development, technology, how things are built from A to Z by just doing it. You will bump into some error, some wall, but there are people online that can help you actually. Like, if anyone has an issue, DM me on LinkedIn or something. I will surely answer the question. I answered so many times for people who just contacted me. So nothing is unsolvable. I mean, nothing, asterisk. So people just need to start. Imagine a project and just go for it.
Thank you so much, Antonija. That was great.
Thank you so much for inviting.
If you're a designer building with AI, you're in the right place. Subscribe so the next episode finds you. Cheers!